A moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll have our citizens forum. This is where anyone from the public can come up and speak on any topic not on today's agenda. Just come forward to the podium and give us your name and address. Seeing that there is none, we will move on to awards and proclamations.
Item 4.1, resolution number 10-6714, expressing gratitude and appreciation to Ted Sundell for his employment with the City of Salina from January 1, 1980 to March 30th, 2010.
I'll need action.
I move that we approve resolution 10-6714, expressing gratitude for Ted Sundell's employment with the City of Salina.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution number 10-6714, expressing gratitude and appreciation to Ted Sundell for his employment with the City of Salina. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 3-0. If Mr. Sundell wants to come forward. This is a resolution expressing gratitude and appreciation to firefighter EMT Theodore P. Sundell for his employment with the City of Salina from January 1st, 1980 to March 30th, 2010. Whereas during the period from January 1 to March 30th, Theodore Sundell served as paramedic, firefighter, and firefighter EMT for the Fire Department of the City of Salina. And whereas Theodore Sundell has demonstrated invaluable and dedicated service to the City of Salina, and whereas such service and dedication to his job and to the interest of the City of Salina are worthy of public recognition, so now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Salina, Kansas, that an official expression of gratitude and appreciation to Theodore Sundell for his dedicated and faithful service of paramedic firefighter and firefighter EMT, it's a mouthful, for the Fire Department of the City of Salina, Kansas, that the city clerk is hereby directed to have this resolution delivered to Theodore Sundell, adopted by the Board of Commissioners and signed by the mayor this 22nd day of March, 2010. Thank you. Would you like to say anything regarding? No? Thank you very much for your service. Okay, we do not have any public hearings and items scheduled for a certain time, so we will proceed with the consent agenda.
Item 6.1, approve the minutes of March 12th, 2010. Item 6.2, approve the minutes of March 15th, 2010. Item 6.3, resolution number 10-6719, authorizing an agreement with Sunflower Insurance Group, Incorporated to provide insurance broker services.
Does the commissioner wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? If not, I'll ask for action.
Mayor, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 3-0. Development business.
Item 7.1, consider a request from Richard Gersh to waive a community block development block grant recovery housing plan bid requirement to attend a pre-bid conference.
Ms. Irvin?
Mayor and Commissioners, this is the first of two items in regard to contracts to be awarded for housing rehab under our current grant. It comes to you because you're the body that makes policy decisions in certain matters, one of which is this one, and that is whether or not to allow Mr. Gersh's bids to be considered on this grant round. And you have before you a synopsis of what happened during the bid session where he did not attend, and his explanation for not having attended. So it is up to you to decide whether or not to allow his bids to be considered under the next item. Questions?
Any questions of Ms. Irvin? Thank you. I'll open it up to public comment. Seeing that there is none, I will bring it back to the commission for action. And again, if there is no action, does this die? Mr. Bingston?
I would say that in this situation, you need direction, do you not, one way or the other?
Okay.
I mean, rather than just
let it die.
There is not a default outcome by virtue of letting it die.
Okay.
I would understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Judy, but I would think that in order to go forward, we need direction from the commission.
Right. We need to know whether or not you want to consider, allow his bids to be considered under the next item.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll need action from the commission.
I'd move that we recommend to decline Mr. Gerst's request to waive the pre-bid conference attendance, as everyone needs to play on a level field.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we decline Mr. Gersh's request to waive the bid requirements. All those in favor to deny it, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes to deny the request, 3-0.
Item 7.2, authorize award of contract for the Community Development Block Grant Recovery Phase 2 Housing Rehabilitation Contracts.
Mayor and Commissioner, Phase 2 had 10 projects, and you find a synopsis of those projects attached. On February 24th, we did open bids, and there was one person who had an overall number of 9 total low bids. The rules that were adopted for the housing plan give the commission, again, some leeway as to how to handle each of these items. And the issues that are at hand are the fact that you may wish to award or not to award all to the low bidder. The housing plan allows you to use what is called a 3-bid plan or rule, and that is put in place because there are some times when a community may wish to encourage contractors by allowing several contractors to get some work when there's been more than one contractor bidding. Also, in the interest of time, that does speed up the overall completion time. In this case, if you would consider using the 3-bid rule, it would end up overall spending the grant funds down a little quicker than if you did award according only to the low bid. So that's the biggest item that you need to consider in your discussion, and then on down the line how you want to apply that if you choose to deviate from the 3-bid rule. Are there questions of the bid synopsis or anything else at this point?
You mentioned that obviously if you go with the one bidder that there would be a longer timeline, but that's acceptable and everybody's aware of that, I'm assuming?
It should not slow it down to put our grant anywhere near in jeopardy. The contractor is here if you want to ask questions directly of him. We have been told that he has a crew of 9 available to work, and so if you'd like to ask him how quickly he thinks he can complete, that would be an issue for you. But so far as our estimates, given weather delays that we can't forecast, one could expect that we would be well within performance time so far as the grant is concerned.
And the only other question I had regarding the bids from the other companies to these homes, did they just choose not to bid on some of those just by choice, or?
It is the contractor's option to submit bids on any or all projects. Some decline to bid. Some are in different circumstances so far as equipment or expertise, and so that some did choose not to bid on certain projects. Occasionally, a contractor will bid on a project that they do out of the goodness of their heart. And I should have pointed out to begin with, I was very pleased, and so were other staff people, at the turnout for this bid. I think this phase, having 4 contractors submit hopeful bids, is a really good sign of support for the community. And that is one of the things that is a factor in this particular grant, is the idea of putting some dollars to work at home. And also, you can't do that unless you have the support of the contracting community, and it takes quite a bit of time to prepare bids. So each one of these contractors has visited the properties that he put a bid in on, so that's an investment up front. So.
And my last question, you mentioned that 2 were almost flawless.
Yes.
Can you tell me?
From a technical standpoint. And as we open the bids, during the bid opening, we simply tally what's on the sheets, but afterwards we go back and make sure that the math is okay and that everything is in order. And so there were 2 contractors that had no math problems, no math issues, and secured the inspection signatures on all the properties. There were 2 bidders who had some math issues or did not collect a signature at the property. And the low bidder, in fact, did have 2 properties where he did not collect the signatures. He did visit the properties, but did not get the signatures of the owners. So that's a separate issue you may want to talk about after you've decided on whether you want to award the bids on the basis of the 3-bid rule or whether you want to stick to the low bidder.
But the prices here have those amounts corrected.
Those are correct. Those
Okay.
those are after verification for the math.
Okay. Okay. Questions of staff?
What's our history on this? Have we done bids like this before? And has the outcome been more than one contractor, or have we awarded contracts to one low bidder?
We have not done a CDBG contract letting in a long time, more than 10 years. We have done home contract bidding, bid letting in the last 8 years. And there have been occasions where we went, in the case of the in the case of the home program, we awarded to the low bidder, but that was a different program and a different time.
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions?
He was going to say.
Mr. Gage? Okay. I'll open it up at this time to public comment. Any questions of the, are you the lowest bidder?
Low bid on
Okay.
9 of them.
My only question on that is, and I failed to ask Ms. Irvin, what is the timeline that this has to be completed by? All these.
No, that has not been set. I mean,
Did it list any kind of criteria in the,
No, we don't. We did not have a specific performance period beyond what is needed in the grant. That would be done in the contract itself.
okay. So in the contract, did you estimate a time that it would take you to complete all these 10 projects?
we're not required to do that.
Okay, so it could take,
Because until they tell us whether we have 3 or 9, that makes a little difference on.
Sure.
so is that the next step then? Once it's awarded in that contract, does he determine, someone determine what the timeline would be for the completion?
The award for individual projects is actually 2-step. One is to determine which contractor the commission considers to be preferred. And kind of depending, as Archie said, on how that flows, then there is a separate discussion as to what order those contracts should be taken in. Sometimes work is better done later in the season when the weather's better, so the individual contract would be written with that in mind.
Okay.
So it's the step. We're at the step where the commission is to decide which price to take for each of the bids, and then we generally work out the time frame after that.
Okay.
If you wish to express a desire on the time frame, that's certainly, I would say, your purview to do so.
Okay, okay. Any questions of the, of Mr. Ponton? Okay, thank you. Any additional public comment? Seeing that there is none, I'll bring it back to the commission for action.
Well, I'll just say it seems the most rational thing to do would be to save about $37,000. So, Mayor, I would move that we approve award Phase 2 contracts by project low bid, illustrated as option 1, and authorize the mayor to sign the 10 contracts.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go ahead and authorize the award of the Community Development Block Grant and award the contract to the lowest bidder. Did that have a number? I didn't have any kind of a number on it.
I didn't see anything.
No. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 3-0. We'll move on to administration.
Item 8.1, General Obligation Bonds and Notes. Sub-item 8.1A, Resolution Number 106718, authorizing the offering and for public sale of the General Obligation Temporary Note and Bonds. Sub-item 8.1B, First Reading Ordinance Number 10-10540, authorizing the issuance and delivery of General Obligation Improvement Bond Series 2010-A.
Mr. Franz.
Mayor and Commissioners, thank you. The actions today will initiate the sale of the bonds and notes that we have scheduled for this year. They include one temporary note in the amount of $1,600,000 for the Grand Prairie subdivision that is currently under construction. That construction completion is anticipated later this year. Those notes will come due in August of 2011, at which times they will be rolled into bonds. The 2010A bonds provide permanent financing for a number of projects, including Scholar Addition and Stone Creek. Both of those were special assessment projects with nearly 100% assessment financing. Bicentennial Center improvements, which have been previously authorized. Fire Station Number 1. Let me back up to the Bicentennial Center. A good number of those improvements have been accomplished. There are some remaining items to be done on that, and those will be scheduled this upcoming summer season when they can fit it into the schedule. Fire Station Number 1 project also has been authorized and is under design. We would anticipate a contract to be issued later this year. Landfill, $1,600,000 to be paid from landfill revenues over a 4-year period, and that project is also nearly complete. I believe it's scheduled for completion at the close of this month. And then finally, we are adding a refunding of the 2002A bonds that remain to be outstanding. There's about 3 years worth of bonds outstanding, and the analysis indicates that we can save about $30,000 by refinancing those at this time. Total amount of bonds to be issued would be $6,918,600. Subject to some final adjustments, there still may be a prepay or two on the special assessments, and of course the refunding issue will be sized at the time bids are taken so that it can be precisely matched to the outstanding bonds. Be glad to try to answer any questions you might have at this point.
Questions of Mr. Franz? No. Thank you. I'll open it up to public comment. Seeing that there is none, I'll bring it back to the commission for action.
Mayor, I move we adopt resolution number 10-6718, authorizing the offering for public sale of general obligation temporary notes and bonds.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 10-6718, authorizing the offering of public sale of general obligation temporary notes and bonds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 3-0.
Mayor, I move we adopt on first reading ordinance number 10-10540, authorizing the issuance and delivery of general obligation internal improvement bonds, Series 2010-A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt on first reading ordinance number 10-10540, authorizing the issuance and delivery of the principal amount of this general obligation internal improvement bond, Series 2010-A. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 3-0. Do we have any other business?
We do not.
I'll ask for adjournment.
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 3-0. We are adjourned.